女士们、先生们，欢迎来到李世锋茶谈录。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a tea with Li. Today, with great honor and pleasure, we are having Ramona Lee Soo-Jun. So you have also a, quite a unique name. And Ramona is a great novelist, and she's writing, for the TV series, film, and also particularly martial arts action writer you are. So what did take you to this, writing career, and since when you start writing?
Well, writing in itself, I think I was always kind of a writer. Even as a very young kid, I like to tell stories. I like to make up my own stories. And later on, when I learned how to write, then I started writing. So I think it always been with me from early on. When it comes to martial arts, action stories, Agent 00 was my so-called first martial arts story, although the debut novel I wrote was a martial arts drama. But I didn't really have the martial arts comedy, the let's say Jackie Chan style of comedy that I later on started writing. But yeah, that was the first one. It was martial arts films, really watching Bruce Lee on screen, watching Jackie, growing up with all these films made me want to one day write my own, and I did. So here we are.
Cool. And so you watched the martial arts movies, like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, or the other great martial artists, and it like rooted a seed in your heart, and then you started writing. Am I right?
It did. It is something. Sometimes you can enjoy a film without thinking, oh, I can make my own. But in that case, I always wanted, I want to grow up and then make my own films. I didn't really know what it meant. I didn't know, the whole production, right? What it takes. You have to write the story. You have to have a screenplay. As a producer, for example, right? You need to find an entire team. It is actors, but it's not just what you see on screen. It's everything that happens behind the scenes that you don't even know it exists. You have to think all of that, and I thought it was quite interesting. But when it comes to that huge jump of getting to, I want to make my own films, well, let's start with the beginning. You need a story. And okay, let's make a story. So let's write a story. Then I thought, okay, I can write some screenplays. I had no idea how a screenplay looked. I've never seen a screenplay in my life. That was when I was quite young. So I said, okay, I can just write a story down, and it ended up being a book. So I said, oh, well, I'm not a screenwriter. I'm a novelist. I write books, in fact. And then later on, I started learning how to transition from a novelist to screenplays, how to take the story and turn it into film material. But when it comes to books, I think I always go back to books themselves. In fact, even if I want to make movies one day, it is still fun to publish books and hold a printed book in your hand and say, this is mine, no matter what happens with the films, if they ever happen, or if I can get to experience that kind of job. But at least I have my own book that I can hold. So it's a different kind of experience.
Cool. Yeah. Nowadays, people mostly read by your Kindle, computer, or whatever, but to hand real paper book in your hand, it also help relax your eyes. You have something, feel the feeling, the emotion from the writer. Not digitally, but sort of touching way. Okay. Actually, when I was a child, my father always took me to the in China we call it 新华书店. It's the national bookstore chain. So to buy some books, and my favorite is Shakespeare. So actually, I had quite some story with Shakespeare. Okay, so around 1930, so for the first time, Shakespeare was translated to China almost fully. At that moment, it was the Second World War. The China and Japan, they, also across the world, it was a messed up time. So one of the best, probably the best, Shakespeare translator in Chinese, Zhu Shenghao. He, translated Shakespeare's amazing book poetically. He's an amazing poet. So he feel more emotion and also the other sense to touch the heart of Shakespeare. So yeah, and I read his translation, and later I visited, and of course because the very tough time, he passed away when he was very young, and his wife Song Qingru and also his son carried on his legacy and to keep moving. But he almost done all Shakespeare book in Chinese translation. And later I visited his son, and also I visited his former residence. So we had a wonderful conversation talking about Shakespeare and how the grandmaster Zhu Shenghao translated Shakespeare. So okay, you are based on London of UK. So what is your favorite writer? Whom inspired you so much to make your dream of writing, or to guide you to keep writing? You already published 12 books, right? It's quite amazing. Yeah.
I did, yes. I don't think there was a particular moment when I said I read this book and this is my favorite, because it's hard. I think it's somehow easier for me to pick a favorite film than it is to pick a favorite book, because when you write them, you always have a moment I read and like, oh, I can make this different, or I can make this is great. So you find so many good stories. But I think early on, maybe I liked reading Agatha Christie as well when I was quite young. I think now I transition more into nonfiction as well. But yeah, I can say quite a few crime stories that I read. I felt, okay, they're really interesting, and they are, if they're really good, it's hard to make as well, to find plot twists where you can go on and discover more and more things without making it too obvious to the reader. So you have to be a mastermind behind crimes, basically, to come up with such plot twists. So they always were quite intriguing to me to think of, wow, this is interesting to make. And I appreciate when I can find a good one and read a good crime story. And so yeah, I would say just in general, the genre is quite intriguing.
Cool. And you also before our tea talk really happened, you mentioned that Bruce Lee, somehow inspired you to keep working on and how it goes.
He did, yeah. I mean, I do really like the philosophy behind everything he's done, and like he always used to say that under the skies, under the heaven, we are but one big family. I think just hearing that growing up a lot made me think a lot about just opportunities in general that you have in life, depending on where you are from, how you look like, how your name sounds, and all these things. I grew up in Germany. Now my family, I come from a mixed background, but my family is like mixed German and Romanian, but just mostly Romanian in general. Even my dad grew up in Romania as a German family, let's say. So even they both had an accent, they both were immigrants in Germany, whereas I was born there. My skin color is quite white, so I could fit into with a German kid quite well. I would sound German, but the moment they would see my parents, oh, she's a child of an immigrant. And you could just see also growing up, there's a bit of a difference in how you are treated sometimes, even in school opportunities, or even how teachers view you, kids around you. And I always thought, well, Romania is my home then. If everybody's telling me, oh, you're an immigrant, you're Romanian, go back to your country. Eastern Europe, in Europe in general, is not seen great at times. It's more of the gypsies of Europe. So it's always the go back to your country. But when I did go back to my country, I arrived in Romania when we moved when I was 10 years old. I couldn't really fit in as a Romanian kid because I was the German kid. I had the German accent. I had to learn how to read and write in Romanian because I didn't grow up doing that. I could speak Romanian, but I sounded very much like a street kid. I wasn't like, my grammar wasn't proper, and I had to learn all of those things. I had to start fit in culturally as well. It was so different to a country that is maybe a few years behind in certain things, but ahead in maths, for example, ahead in other things where I was very behind in Germany. So trying to fit in, as a kid, you just realize, well, I don't really fit into either cultures. None of them accept me 100% as theirs. I'm always kind of foreign to things in general. Which is different in London. When I moved here about 5 years ago, there's such a mix of cultures where nobody really cares where you are from. Like, oh, you are mixed 5 countries. Yeah, fine. Anyway, they care more about what you do and who you are. That's London. So I guess all big cities are generally like this. But when it comes to just the experiences I had, and when I started writing and I just picked Asian characters, right? If you say, okay, I'll make a martial arts action comedy, whatever, they will have Asian characters. But I wanted other stories like romantic comedies or just a drama that had nothing to do with anything stereotypical Asian, let's say. And I just picked Asian characters. And I got so much pushback. I was back in Romania in publishing where, well, why do the characters have to have these names? Why can you not pick a Romanian name, or why can you not pick an American name? And at some point I even asked, well, what is an American name? What is an American name after all? Isn't that just a bunch of mixed cultures in there? That's America. So pretty ridiculous, right? So all these situations where you had so much pushback of, no, we don't want to publish fighting Chinese, we don't want to publish these names. So okay, and that was just when I was publishing stuff online, so people were reading for free to just kind of see how the market reacts to what I write. And that was when I was about 14, right? So also pretty rough when you have a bunch of...
Just 1 second. See there? Yeah. Okay. My little nephew is knocking the door so hard, you know, as you said, you hear the noise. I must let him know that I'm working, okay? Just give me a second.
Okay.
Otherwise, the kids, they are so amazing that they will never stop there. Okay, I trained him football, you know? Okay, just a second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Is he okay?
We come back. Yeah, he's totally okay. He would like to bring me some peanuts.
Oh, that's so nice.
Peanuts.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, okay. And go ahead about your 14. Okay.
But yeah, it is pretty ridiculous to think that a bunch of adults, right, at that time, have a go at a kid, right, as a teenager for these things of why there's no need to be so rude, right? But yeah, and just accumulated all these situations where, no, we don't want to write about her in the news. I had issues where like, no, not with this name, because I chose the characters I did, but then I thought, oh, what if I choose just an Asian name that nobody knows who I am, nobody knows where I'm from, I'll just publish, see how people react. I chose Lee from Bruce Lee, and then Soo-Jun was just I would say, randomized name pick online. And I just put them together. I was like, oh, it sounds kind of Korean, but you can easily read it in Chinese. It's a bit from everywhere. So like, yeah, let's put that in and see how it goes. But just the idea itself of then having the reactions of where is she actually from, or what about this name, or why doesn't she use her real name? Why it is an Asian name? We don't want an Asian name in Romanian literature. And just years of repeated situations like these, where what I then wanted to just say with my name was, well, you know what? You've proven me exactly what I wanted to prove, that you are discriminating based on a name. And I don't even have to be Asian to lose opportunities here. I am a white female with an Asian name, and I'm still discriminated. Well, that's the problem. And that's, that's why I also chose Lee, the Bruce Lee whole philosophy of it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter how you look like, your skin color, your name, where you were born or where you live. It matters that you are a human being and you should be treated like that. But And I think it is okay. It's getting gradually better. I think just in general, let's say for Romania or in general Europe, I think it starts opening up a bit more, as you can see now. Even American productions, even Netflix, this type of films they make, they start gradually being a bit less stereotypical and be a bit more accepting. I think the whole Eastern Europe situation, it gets a bit less pointing fingers, they're poor, they have nothing to eat. Well, Eastern Europe is not always like that. Yes, salaries are a bit smaller, a bit lower in that side of Europe, but it's not a complete, after World War kind of situation. They're developing, there's fast internet. So yeah, it's too easy to point fingers, but it's changing gradually. But I think it's still very slow and too slow. So yeah, taking the name forward, and when I turned 18, I changed it into my legal name. So I took away my actual family name because it was, first of all, ugly in Romania, had an ugly meaning, and it didn't really mean much to me. It was just something that I got when I was born, and there was nothing really behind that was sustaining it, and there was nobody really behind that was saying, for example, my dad were like, oh yeah, go for it. He wasn't really like, yeah, no, what are you doing? I'm not really interested. So I felt, okay, there's nothing that makes me feel proud about this name. There's nothing that, but when it comes to Bruce Lee, he did actually teach me something. So I thought, yeah, I'll rather honor him than, a name that just came off of a not really any basis. So I did change that name, and then I added Soo-Jun as well to my legal name. And I've been having that since I'm 18. And yeah, quite interestingly, you can see how sometimes you are treated differently when you show up with a specific name or when you have a specific accent in different places. So yeah, it's changing, but slowly. So yeah.
Cool. And I think for most of us, maybe we use to struggle that our name, sometimes because our name, mostly it was offered by our parents or grandparents, or no matter we like it or not like it, most of the time we cannot change it, or we change it in our own way, So, and we find a name which is pretty or suitable for us, and then we change it at least with a good friend or whatever, and later. So you are bravely, did it until right now, and of course, yeah. So, I think you have the quite, the common story about the struggling to dive in the kind of common society because you are unique, right? And you did it well, and even it's, as you mentioned, slow and sometimes it's harder. Maybe, I don't know, you get some, criticized, you get some, bad word from the other kids or from the others, and I remember that one, American movie called The Graduation, The Graduation. And so when the gentleman graduated from college, his parents, he had everything because he's from quite a fine family. Some people asked him, so, okay, what do you want? What do you want to be? He just say, I want to be different. Very simple. I want to be different. I think, and you were born in different. So sometimes it's hard to be common, to be in common. You get what I mean? The balancing, in this. So I am right now, just a little story to share. Okay, in China, so not so many people, they have beard. So they were just shave it, and and very, very rare. And also people don't use, the men, they don't keep the hair long, as long as right here or even longer. So if it's okay now, the society, because it's more open-minded. But if you go to some village, or some closed men set, they say, wow, what happened on you? You look so, for example, like me. they will say, you look so old. And you look
You
so...
have no money to trim your hair? Nobody's paying for a barber? Like they would say to you, like, nobody's paying. Do you want some money to go to a barber?
Yeah. And so, yeah, some judging also, you know, like the older generation. For example, and my granny, she would like to look pretty, you know, she would like to, you know, be, you know, handsome or whatever. And she said, why you keep your bed? You should, you know, take it off. And then the pressure delivered to my father, because I don't really, I respect, but I keep my own, I keep my own way. And my father will say, you know, take it off, you know, because, you know, the power from the father. And I say, I you know, keep existing on to keep it, because it for me it's a reminder of what? A reminder of, you know, the way to see the beauty and the way to express the beauty are different. You know, for example, in China, people don't really like this. But I have, you know, students and friends of martial arts, you know, crossing over the world. So some of them, they like it so much, and they keep it as the same as me. So we share, you know, the same joke, same feeling on it. Okay, this is some story about being different and also stay in common. So just like the martial arts, as you mentioned, so all the martial arts, they share the same principle, which is in universalness, like in common. But all of us, the martial artists, like you are, I mean, maybe also martial artists, at least in writing. Do you practice martial arts, by the way?
I used to train Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, cool. Yeah, and so we are the martial arts, we share the uniqueness, just like, which means being different. Okay, this is some story which is resonating with yours. Okay, back to your profession. Okay, to be a writer, to be a novelist, Haruki Murakami, the gentleman from Japan, you know, you
Yes.
like his books?
Yeah, I think he has an interesting approach. I did read, I think he had a nonfiction book lately, right? Was it Novelist as a Profession? That he published last year. So I think that was an interesting take on just the world of a writer, how you start out, all the concerns you have, or just I wouldn't say self-doubt, but sometimes you evaluating yourself so much, where you're thinking, well, what can I do better? What are others doing better? Or what am I doing wrong? Or not specifically comparing yourself, but just trying to constantly be better than what you did before, and then going back and saying, oh, but I could, you know, make this better, but no, it was good as it was at the time I published it. But just all this overthinking. You should, even someone at a higher level that has published, sold so many books, has the same thoughts, and or lives a normal commoner, let's say, life, where he just has a routine, pretty boring routine as is, but has a less boring imagination. So his profession is exciting, but him as a person says, no, I like a calm life. I like to wake up in the morning, make a coffee, and go for a walk with my wife, and then just sit on my chair at home and write. And if you think about it, that's what it is. Because if you don't put in the hours of sitting down in front of your computer and writing it, it's not going to write itself. So it is hours and hours and hours of just sitting down and being in your own world and creating that story. And at least from my point of view, you need that piece of, I need sometimes less to happen around me so I can focus more on creating more. Then if more happens around me, I can create less, because you're so involved in real life, right? You put up things, you can't really go into your imaginary world. So, yeah, I think as a writer, sometimes you just have a very peaceful, quiet, call it boring, non-eventful life, so you can then come up with imaginary stories. At the same time, sometimes having an exciting life for a while is an inspiration as well, right? Because the world inspires you, people around you inspire you, situations, and you can create stories based off of that. So it's a mix of both. But yeah, it's good to have an insight from someone that has done so much in their career, and after all, they say, yeah, I just have a normal day-to-day life, but yeah, I do write that when I really focus and sit down. I can come up with all these things. So that's good to see.
Cool. Actually, you already answered the question before I ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's such like, I mean, it's such a flow. I supposed to ask you because Haruki Murakami, he said, okay, to be a writer is a liberty-seek lifestyle, because you have to stay, you know, in front of the, you know, amount of paper, or now in front of the computer, keep concentrating on, you know, doing one thing. You know, looks like boring, you know, and also you have to sit. It bring you, how you take the balance of writing your profession and your own health. That's why he chose to run, right? He wrote the book, what I'm talking about when I talk about running, discuss the situation of being a writer, and I'm happy that you share, your opinion. Okay.
Because he likes running, right? He says he likes going for runs, and yeah.
He ran, and at the moment I was, 20s, and I running almost every day. So I read his book about running. Okay, and also he wrote another book called Norwegian Wood, which I read for a while as well. Okay, so you wrote for now 12 books already. So what drives you to be so productive? Sometimes when I would like to write something, I start somewhere, days I write just a bunch of paper, how you get so much inspiration and to be so productive?
I think a big factor of, like, we all have it, right? The distraction of social media, of constantly having notifications coming in on your phone. And you think, well, that's not a big deal. I just read what that person said and I go back. No, that just pulls you out from your focused ideas, whatever you were doing there. It constantly just pulls you back out. And I have that issue more now than I had it, let's say, 10 years ago. And I'm aware of it, and I think I should just be putting that phone in a different room and not touching it for the rest of the day. If I know there's nothing urgent, there's no work, there's nobody that needs me that day, I'd rather not check it at all and just try to be focused. About 10 years ago, let's say, social media wasn't like a big thing. You wouldn't sit on any of them and mindlessly scroll around. That wasn't really the problem. You would have a few friends maybe online, they would share a few photos, that was it. You were chatting with some, you were done in an hour. There was nothing that exciting to do. YouTube was at the beginning or whatever. So there wasn't really that much, I say 15 years ago, right? There wasn't that much online to do. But now we are all so connected. There's always something exciting, a new photo, a new reel, a new video, and it's so easy to get drawn into these and not focus anymore. Let's say 10 years ago, I could just sit there, not even have internet connection, and I could just write, and then I was being productive. It's not the same thing anymore now. But when it comes to being focused, I think you just need to be determined to get things done. I think I have something for, the idea of, I need to get this done by now, and if not, I'm going to be really angry at myself for not doing it, because I want to get this, any project really, writing, work, anything it is, I want to see it till the end. So I have a plan, I have to take all the steps to get there. So I'm very specific about these things. And if not, it just bothers me. So I'd rather sit down and do it than, if I'm not doing it, I'm thinking of, why am I not doing it? And I'm not doing anything else until I get that thing done. So maybe I'm just a bit obsessive in that sense, but it's helped me so far to be productive. So that's how I hold myself accountable. So I don't need anyone to sit next to me, giving me a deadline or telling me how to do it, what to do, and just hold me accountable, because I'm already my biggest critique at holding me accountable for things. So I think, yeah, that is one of the things. And otherwise, I do really enjoy it. When it comes to writing, I do really enjoy the process, and it's less work, it's more, although I know it doesn't sound like it, but it's more like relaxation of sitting down and doing something enjoyable. Like some people want to go for a walk, others watch a film, or just relax in nature. Writing is pretty much that for me. So it's always been that. So I think, yeah, it's a mix of having deadlines that you set yourself, and that pressure that comes from yourself from finishing things, and finding something that you really like doing, and then you will do it because you enjoy it. So that comes easily, and then you can be focused 12, 24 hours just sitting there doing that thing because you enjoy it so much.
Okay, cool. So you mean for the productivity, you first you have to, you enjoy it, and the second you have the destination to reach in a certain time.
Yes.
Third, that you are free to express what you would like to write. So something like this, right? Yeah. Simple word.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I will try to follow up your idea because I'm also writing my martial arts book, the Kungfu book, and okay, I will catch up your productivity and to see what will happen. Okay, and the last question is, what does writing mean to you?
That's an interesting one as well. What it means to me. Well, I think it is part of myself. So it means I'm me. I'm just doing what I want to do, what I like doing, and what I enjoy doing. And it just means reaching more people, if possible. I want to have more readers. If that wasn't for the readers, I wouldn't be writing. I know some authors say they're doing that for themselves and they're writing. It's like therapy, or it's something that they do for themselves. I think if I knew there was nobody reading what I'm writing, I wouldn't be doing it. I know it sounds a bit ironic, because when you first start out, you have nobody reading it. But even if I had that one person, you always need that one person to read. I was my mom that was always reading and giving me feedback. So I knew, if anything, I was writing for one person, and that was one person appreciating and looking up at what I'm doing. So, and then from there you expand, and then you get an audience. You have your readers, you have your own little group of people that appreciate what you do. But for me, yeah, it means that I can reach someone on whatever level it is. But you're creating something that lasts. That's always going to be there, even when you're not there anymore. And you can just make people laugh. You can make people cry over and over again whenever someone picks up that story. And I think that's what it means to me.
Cool. And I think because your way of expressing, who you are, and also the goal you are setting for yourself, and finally make you being so productive, and also in many different ways. And I'm happy that to see that you are keeping on your own journey, and also bring more people involved in by reading your book to connect with you. Okay, for all of you guys who are looking for a screenwriter, and also particularly, we share the same interest in martial arts. So I'm mostly doing in action. The physical training offer the theory, offer the practical training, but you are writing for the movies, the TV series in martial arts action. So Ramona Lee, because this is the mostly Korean style name, so I must okay, Lee Soo-Jun. Yes, this is literally, and it's a pretty name, and is exactly the one you are looking for. And she wrote amazingly and to deliver her message to the people who are reading it. And once again, thank you so much, Ramona, to share your story, to share how to be productive. I think it will inspire a lot of people. For example, like me, I'm being inspired already to keep writing my book. You know, I also need to set down a deadline. Otherwise, there is
Go do it.
Yeah, there
Go
is
do
no
it.
end list. I mean, and I hope that maybe I hope in this year I can finish it because I write in English, so I can share with you. You can to be the teacher to check it out if any part I write not clearly or hard to understand. And in this case we share similar. I write the how to practice it and also the theory, the guide to practice it. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
OK，悄悄，再见。